While the controversy over a new football stadium in San Diego continues, fantasy football leagues are enthusiastically gearing up for a new season. Joining me with a closer look at the game and its real-life impacts are my guests, Scott Minto, director of the Sports MBA program at San Diego State University, and Cindy Darlington, fantasy football player and blogger. And Cindy, why did you join a women's-only fantasy football league?
Well, I have a lot of women friends that wanted to do fantasy, but they didn't necessarily know how to do it, and they wanted to learn more, so we all geared together and started a league.
Are there a lot of women playing?
There are tons. I think women make up about 20% of all fantasy football players, and we're growing because people find out how much fun it is and they want to continue.
They want to get in on some of that fun. Now, your league just held their draft yesterday. Give us a crash course, if you would. Walk us through, for somebody who doesn't know, how this game works.
So fantasy football is like an all-star team made up of players throughout the league. Most leagues have 15 players, and you're going to start about 9 players, and 6 will be your backups. You have a league of 8 to 14 teams maybe, and the scoring varies, but basically your players earn points every week for things they do in the game, like running the ball or scoring touchdowns. And the teams with the most points go head to head, and the teams with the most points every week
But
win.
these aren't real people that are, I mean, it's based on real people, right? It's not like these leagues you're out there playing football.
No, it's based on actual players that play in games every week. So you're interested in every game. If you have a player in that game, you're going to want to watch it.
All right, Scott's laughing because for somebody who doesn't know, you might think, hey, I have to get out there and play football. Of course you don't. But this fantasy football has been called a multi-billion dollar industry. How many Americans play, and how much money is being spent on this?
It's estimated that over 33 million Americans are investing somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 billion a year in fantasy, both from league fees to research and anything that goes into making their team the best one that can be in their league.
Now, is there gambling? Is this considered gambling?
It's considered a game of skill, so it is not necessarily gambling. A lot of that stuff falls under kind of a nebulous category of the sports gambling industry, but basically there are ways to set lineups and invest in a team and see if you can win the league prize.
All right, so how do real sports teams and even sports networks actually benefit from these fantasy football leagues? It's
all about the TV contracts. So the leagues generate billions of dollars from various networks like NBC, Fox, CBS, ESPN, all paying for the rights to air their games. And the more people play fantasy football, the more they have an appetite for even some of the worst games on the schedule. So the eyeballs are up, ratings are up, and advertising dollars are up, and that means revenues will keep coming in by the billions.
Because you're watching the guys that you picked,
exactly,
and you're watching what they do and maybe somehow benefiting or hurting from the points they score.
Yeah, you're driving a lot of traffic to internet sites to update your lineup and to pick your team for the following week, and that raises advertiser revenue, and everything sort of rises with the tide.
Well, Cindy, I understand the team names in fantasy football are part of the fun. What are some San Diego team names that you can actually say on air?
Yes, there's many that you can't, but a lot of people use Cry Me a Rivers, Living in a Van Down by the Rivers, Rivers Me Timbers. There's a few Manti Te'o names, the Manti Christ. Eric Weddle's Beard is a popular one. They range from kind of the obvious to the very random.
All right, and why do you think that fantasy football is here to stay?
It's a social game. There's a lot of camaraderie. It's easy to do once you spend a little time with it, and it's just a lot of fun.
And same question for you, Scott. Do you think it's here to stay, one, and if so, why?
It certainly is, because it's generating a lot more money for the leagues, its sponsors, and its broadcast partners.
Anything else? Is there an addictive quality to this?
Absolutely. I think it's addictive. If you have a chance to win money, it gets you more excited about games that you normally wouldn't be invested in. And it's a great sense of camaraderie. You get to keep in touch with people that are in your league, and you can trash talk if you want, but it's a good way to just every week have a way to communicate with friends and colleagues alike.
All right, and just a final note, are there divisions by city? So like would San Diego's fantasy football leagues maybe go to some sort of playoff with other cities?
You can join leagues like that with special interest groups, age range, female, male, cities, all sorts of interest groups. You can find them online and play with them.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. Cindy Darlington and Scott Minto, thank you so much.
Thank you.